Toukon Club is another last for the Famicom. This is the last wrestling game we're going to see. It's been a real slog of a genre, but we're finally at the end. And I gotta say, Toukon Club is the best wrestling game on the Famicom. I don't think it's good, but it's not painful to play like most of the others. In Toukon Club, you pick a wrestler from a roster of 8, and then have to beat up the other 7. It's a wrestling game. Were you really expecting anything deeper than that? The wrestlers are all rated on power, stamina, and speed. And they all have a unique fighting style that they use in the ring. The broad strokes are the same. They'll still punch and kick and grapple, but the details wind up being different, and so one character's body slam might be very effective, while another might do a much weaker throw with that same input. There's really only 2 modes of play here. The tournament, where you fight your way through all the wrestlers, and a 2-player mode. There's an options screen, but all it lets you do is turn the music off and on, and change how long the match can last. When the match starts, you have to move into the ring yourself. For some reason, it just wants you to control this part. And then once you're in the ring, it's time to fight. The B button is your hands, the A button is your feet. So the B button will often throw a punch, and the A button will typically kick, but there's differences in how that behaves between characters. The moves that you perform are also affected by where you're standing in relation to your opponent, and the screen has this impressive looking, but really very disorientating, rotation effect that occurs when you move to certain points. You can't really attack your opponent outside of the horizontal plane, and when the ring spins, you'll often find yourself out of alignment with them. It's an interesting effect, but I don't think it works very well in play. When the 2 wrestlers move close together, they'll get into a grapple, and here you're struggling to see who will perform a move. Pushing in a direction while you're grappling and hitting a button will attempt to perform different moves. Generally, the A button is for throws, while the B button is for more intense holds. You can tap twice in a direction to run, and while you're running, if you hit A, you'll perform some kind of jump kick. If you get tossed out of the ring, you have until a 20 count to get back in, and to do that you have to press up and hit B when you're right next to the ring. If your opponent is down on the ground, approaching and hitting A will attack them while they're down, and that'll usually do massive damage, while B will attempt to pin them. If you get pinned, then you'll need to mash A and B rapidly to break out of it. There are 2 bars at the bottom of the screen for each wrestler. The top bar is the stamina, and getting that down to nothing gives you a decent shot of them being counted out when you pin them. It's not a guarantee though. Stamina will gradually recover over time, so if you can get your opponent out of the way and back off for a little while, you can recover a bit of it. The triangles below your stamina are your anger meter. This increases as you get attacked, and if it reaches the top, then you're angry enough to pull off some kind of super move. Every wrestler has a completely different one of those. If you win the match, then you get 2 points to apply to your 3 stats. So you'll never be able to increase everything. You also get a password that'll let you pick up right where you left off. I suspect that most of the wrestlers are supposed to be parodies of people, though I could really only identify one of them. Maybe it was just him. Toukon Club is a game with effectively no following in Japan. I couldn't even find anyone who talked about playing it. I mean, I know people have played it, there are videos that exist, but that's as far as it goes. Wrestling isn't my thing, and I also happen to think that 8-bit wrestling games aren't very good. But if you absolutely, positively had to play a wrestling game on the Famicom, then Toukon Club is the one to get. That's not an endorsement though. I found the action tough to control. Even on a high-strength character, I tended to get overwhelmed in grapples for no good reason. And it felt like everybody had a 50% longer stamina bar than what appeared on the screen. Plus, the computer cheats like crazy. You can just about have them out, and then suddenly they'll take away 3/4 of your bar. I just felt that this one wasn't a very fun experience.